Okay, so let's dive straight into the deep shit and talk about depression. More specifically, how I live and cope with depression on a day-to-day basis with a full-time job, a family, a partner, life. On the blog, I've written a post that goes into the kind of specifics of what it feels like for me to have depression and my experiences with it, and today I'm not going to go into those because that's kind of like an entire different video and entity, but it will give you more context if you read that post, so I will leave a link to it down below. Practicing kindness towards myself and celebrating all types of wins, the big ones and the small ones. My inner critic is quite harsh, so more recently I've been practicing kindness and just being gentler to myself. So if I'm having a very bad day, I will just be like, yep, okay, that's okay, you can rest, you have to get through this, and the best way to do it is just by being kinder. The way that Joe, my counsellor, put it to me was that if Luke was having a bad day, would I go up to him and be like, get out of bed, give me 100 push-ups, you've got to go do your chores? Or would I be more gentler and respectful and kind of ask him what he wants to do, let him sleep in and lie in, make him a breakfast, and kind of, she asked me the things that I would do if he was feeling a bit down, and then she asked me to do those to myself. And it is quite a hard thing to do after kind of like years of being horrible to myself, but it definitely helps. So does celebrating everything. Recently Luke and I decided that we're going to celebrate everything, like Valentine's Day and Easter and just like literally everything. And this boils down to even things that I do within the day. So yesterday I was feeling very depressed, for the want of a better descriptive word. The past week has been really hard for me. I've been incredibly down, and I had a lot of things that I wanted to do yesterday. I wanted to film this video for one, but I didn't get to it. And I had to practice kindness towards myself and be like, okay, I'm just really not in the mood for it. What I did yesterday was I lay on the floor quite a lot and I slept. And that's okay. So when I went to bed that night, and this is what I do every night, is I write down 3 things I'm grateful for and then 3 wins from that day, and they can be big or small. So my 3 wins from last night were I washed my hair, I wrote a grocery list, and I got up. Like, yeah, celebrate the bigger events in your life, birthdays and like special like holidays that are celebrated in your country, but also celebrate the small things that you do and the small achievements and the big achievements too. Basically, it's just the art of practicing kindness and self-love. Gratitude is another thing that I think is very helpful to get through depression. Every night before I go to sleep, and I've done this for the past year and a bit, is I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. This is really hard sometimes because I'm angry or I'm sad and I'm down, but what it does is it helps me to see that even in a horrible day there is some good and there is things I'm grateful for. One of the biggest things that I'm grateful for when I'm really down is that I'm still alive, because I've put my body through hell. I had anorexia, my first eating disorder was when I was 5, I've had suicidal thoughts quite a lot in my past, and the fact that I'm still here and that I'm still breathing is something that I'm incredibly grateful for when I'm feeling really down, and it kind of helps me get out of funks. No, it doesn't help me get out of funks. It helps me to find that gratitude, which I feel like is kind of important. Like, depression is a whole lot of negativity in your life, so if you can just highlight the little good things, it makes it a little bit better. Lists. Another thing I like to do, and I think this isn't necessarily something that I picked up through depression, but writing lists I find very helpful. I love lists, and my lists these days have become very minimal. So if I'm having a very depressed day, I will only write a few things on it, and they'll be things like wash my hair, have a shower, clean the kitchen, just small tasks that I know ultimately will make me feel better. And the fact when I don't know what it is, but when I cross something off that list, I feel good. So it gives me that little kind of boost of, yes, I am living and I am doing the best I can do, and I am being the best I can be right now. Plus, lists just help my brain function better. I have a tendency to get very overwhelmed. I am a very anxious, overwhelmed person a lot of the time, and writing lists super helpful. Weekly counselling. I go to counselling weekly, and I've been going for nearly a year to see my therapist, and I find it incredibly helpful. Not only do I get to kind of vent the things that happened in the week, but I also get a very outside perspective from someone who isn't necessarily in my life, aside from that one place where I go every week to see her. Honestly, like, going to counselling has helped me so much because it's given me insights into things that I wouldn't think about. She's a trained professional, she knows what she's doing, and she can tell me stuff that I don't know. She also just offers perspective, and if I'm being a bitch to myself, she'll snap me right out of it. I am incredibly grateful for my counsellor because she has honestly been the biggest help. But it's someone who is a trained professional and they're helping you work through the shit that you've got going on. And honestly, like, I know talk therapy isn't for everyone, but I would definitely recommend it. Sometimes I think that you might have just got a wrong person. Like, the first time I went to counselling for my current issue, the counsellor I saw was like a total wacko. I just didn't vibe with her. Her office was in like an abandoned building. It was very strange. So yeah, you need to find the right person, just like when you're finding a doctor. So yeah. I've written a post a while ago about the benefits of counselling, so I'll link that down below too. Investing time into learning about myself, self-care, and depression and anxiety. So I like learning, and I like doing my research on things. I don't know, this is something I kind of just naturally do. I tend to Google things a lot and try and help myself, and I've taken real charge of this thing that's happening to me and trying to like work through it the best I possibly can. Routines. So when you have hobbies, you have a job, you have all these things that you got to do, I find routines very helpful. Like with blogging, I always know that on a Monday night I'm going to edit my vlog, and on a Saturday morning I'll spend my morning blogging and working on future blog posts, and then on a Saturday kind of midday I go to counselling, and on a Sunday I'll go and see my mum. I have these routines set up so that I kind of know what I'm gonna do, and it just makes me feel a lot safer if I have a routine, and it makes it a lot easier. Like if there's no plan, I think it can be a lot easier to get overwhelmed, but if you have a routine and a schedule, it just helps. Staying connected. Okay, so I think this is an important one. It's quite hard because you have a big tendency when you're depressed to kind of withdraw and pull away and push everyone else away. I've lost a lot of friends through my depression, and it's been really hard. But what I've realized is that connection is super important when you're depressed. Just the act of talking to someone about what you're going through is incredibly helpful. So for me, like, staying connected looks like my counselor, my boyfriend, and my mum and my family. And also Instagram, to be honest. I use Instagram a bit as a tool of connection. It gives me the friendship feeling that I'm kind of missing at the moment. I have friends, but I haven't put a lot of effort into my friendships over the past 2 years because I've been really consumed by this darkness that's inside of me. So yeah, I would highly recommend, if you're having a bad day, just to reach out. On a basic, like, human need level, we need people. We love connections and we crave connections. Just make sure you have at least that one person who is like there for you, you know, who you can always talk to. It's a journey, this whole depression thing, and I don't know where it's going, and I don't know where mine is going to end, if it ever is going to end, but just having those people there in your life that help you to make you feel better and feel loved and feel connected, they're really important things. So practicing journaling, meditation, relaxing techniques, and mindfulness. I journal pretty much like 4 out of 7 days a week, or daily, if not daily. And I've always journaled, always. I find journaling so helpful for my chaotic mind because it helps me to process things, to understand it, and kind of take a step back and kind of analyze the situation a bit in like a positive way. It helps me to understand what's going on in my brain. Meditation is also like that. I like meditation because it kind of quiets quietens my mind, and it just gives myself a space to breathe. I'm still on the journey of meditation. My mum's a big fan of it. She's always sending me meditations to listen to, guided meditations, and I'm still kind of figuring out what meditation means to me. So if you guys have any tips or any advice on meditation or what it means to you, please leave them down below, because sometimes I feel a little bit confused on meditation and what it's supposed to do for me. But I do know that it feels good. Relaxation techniques and mindfulness are also important. So things like reading, yoga, these are all things that kind of get you to relax. And I think relaxing is important, just allowing yourself to be and not pressuring yourself. Doing things that make me feel good to help me get through the day. Sometimes all you want to do is watch TV, and that's okay. Sometimes that's all you can do. I would just recommend, if you're going through depression, I would just recommend you find those things that you like to do that help you get through the day. So TV, books, that could be a hobby like clay. I've played with clay before when I've been depressed, and it's real good. Colouring in, creating things. Just find the stuff that make you happy and make you feel good, and then do more of that. Just try and incorporate it into your routine, because you're healing. Movement. Okay. I'm not the only one who rolls my eyes at movement, but I know it's good for me. I'm trying to set up a routine where I start the day off with a morning yoga session or stretch, because I know that I will feel good after it. I want to get more into movement. I've stopped going to the gym, and I've stopped walking too. So we're gonna get back on that buzz, Luke and I, but everyone knows that movement is good for you, and it releases endorphins, and it just makes you feel good. So I had to put it on the list of something that you can do to kind of help you out of that dark spot. Food. I love cooking. I find it incredibly relaxing. How I like to look at it is eating nourishing food that really nourishes my body, because this is what I've got to deal with, and it's exhausted. But I can fuel it by giving it some love and some food. So that's why it's on the list. So those are the things that I kind of incorporate on a weekly basis into my life to try and get through depression. Living with depression is bleh, it's pretty shit, but it's a journey, and it's about healing, and I don't know where this journey is going to end, or if it ever is going to end, but these are things that I do to help me cope and live and maintain a life, basically. If you guys have any recommendations, please leave them down below. I'm gonna leave this video here because it's kind of run its course, and it's also really hot in here, and I need to open a door. But yeah, sending you so much love and light, and good vibes and all that jazz, and I will see you next week. Bye!